Technically speaking, we know almost nothing about Barbara Kruger. The bits of biography that emerge in scattered fashion from her interviews are carefully circumscribed, illuminating in a general way, withholding in another way. She has pretty much refused to be overly expressive about herself as artist, and her work, though each example of it is distinctly a signature piece. Technically speaking, we know almost nothing about Barbara Kruger. The bits of biography that emerge in scattered fashion from her interviews are carefully circumscribed, illuminating in a general way, withholding in another way. She has pretty much refused to be overly expressive about herself as artist, and her work, though each example of it is distinctly a signature piece, has something of the impersonal lucidity we find in Marcel Duchamp's work. Duchamp's subject was art and life, or art in life. Kruger's work is about the war at home, in each of us, between good and bad, men and women, black and white, losers and winners, creeps and assholes, all the socio-cultural dissonances that make the world so tweaked. It seems to issue from an angrily saturnine clarity about how things go wrong between people, how affection subtly modulates into rage, how the brightest moment can turn to shit on a dime. Less abstract subjects than Duchamp's, let's say. Less parochial in its assumption that the art object is a commodity and a medium of exchange, and enough said. The physicality of Kruger's objects is often surprising because, in a way, their objectness seems simply the right thing for that idea in that place at that time, and her ideas translate easily from medium to medium. Transparence is the ideal condition of her work, as in an installation like Power, Pleasure, Desire, Disgust, where virtually everything is a verbally seething skin projected onto architectural volumes. Because, in a sense, the condition of consciousness this work recommends is something with sharp, clear lines and a lot of empty space to reflect in. An art of ideas, in other words, yes, but if conceptual art, say, often reflects a fundamental disjunction between the pleasure the artist took in using materials and the message that comes across, proposes that we locate meaning and pleasure outside the physical, as if the art were trapped in expediently attractive containers, and regard aesthetics as a sort of secondary concession to decoratively severe appetites. Kruger, in contrast, is the least metaphysical and mystifying of artists. An existentialist artist, in a sense. The pleasure in the well-made product, something visually arresting and sometimes horrific, is less distant from our regular menu of pleasures and provocations than a spiral jetty or a field of lightning rods somewhere in New Mexico that we're never going to visit. This work is subtle and blunt at the same time, blunt language with subtle implications, and participates in many strategies of commercial media, since these are, in fact, more persuasive and more authentically gratifying than a lot of contemporary fine art. The commercial media comprise the vernacular of our time, and they're what resonate for us in our actual lives.